Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Kunoichi. And what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I am pleased to give you the class Kunoichi. Here we go. And welcome to the skill slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of her skills. On the far right hand side is all the specials that go with those skills. And then the column CD is cooldown for each skill. And then the column charges is how many times you can use that skill. And then the next one, hits, is how many times that skill will hit a creature or player's opponent. The column damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive skill at the bottom. So a few things to mention, looking at this on the right hand side under specials, the reason those things are colored red like super armor and forward guard, in especially stealth can't be disabled for 0.5 seconds even when attacked, is because those things do not apply in arena. So if you go into arena and you're expecting it to work, it just won't, but everywhere else in the game it will. If you look at the left hand side and you see Shadow Geyser, Cripple, Touch of Death, colored purple, that's because they are connected to your passive at the bottom called Art of the Ninja. And I will explain how that works in the slide for the top 8 PvP skills. So for now, take a moment to look at this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PVE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PVE slide. What I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, with the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And the skill Shadow Plume is your highest damaging skill. So on this slide, there's not much to mention except you already know about what the red is on the right, the purple on the left, and we're covering the passive in the next slide. So the only thing left to say here is that the reason there's a block of green is we can only take 8 skills into the world at a time. So these are the 8 that I recommend. You don't have to just stick with that. I highly recommend that once you get comfortable, you try the other ones, especially the skill suplex. That is your grab, and it is a really good grab. So just enjoy trying those out because they do high damage from top to bottom, and then mix it up. Your choice. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PvP skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PvP slide. What I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, with the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And this time, Touch of Death is your highest damaging skill. So there is a lot to cover on this slide. So first things first is I want to talk about the passive. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to read the passive to you. I'm going to show you 1 or 2 slides so you can get the idea of how it works. And then there is a gameplay video of the passive I want to show you. So that's the order of how we're going to do this. But before I get to that, everyone always asks, what skill can I use super armor in inside arena as well as outside? And the most common response is you have 3. So Kunoichi does have 3, and that is Rain of Steel, and then the next one is Viper Strike, and the third one is Suplex. If you're skilled enough to do Suplex to get the grab in and trigger your super armor to work at the same time, I tip my hat off to you. That is class right there. Not so easy. But anyway, those are the 3 that I recommend. So let's go ahead and move on to talk about the passive. I'm going to just, like I said, read it to you. You gain 1 seal stack by using a skill. So any skill except for these 3 I'm about to talk about. Using Shadow Geyser, Touch of Death, or Cripple will consume seal stacks to apply seal and severe bleed effects. And that's what I separated out and made easy to view on the right hand side. So when you get a seal stack, looking at the seal now, PvP damage received is -15 for 10 seconds, and if you get 1 stack, you qualify for severe bleed to be, you get all skill damage plus 5% for 5 seconds first, and then if you cash that in at level 1, looking down at severe bleed, then you get a bleed of 180 damage plus 1% maximum hit point damage in PvP every second for 3 seconds. Now, I'll be honest with you, I read it many times, 1% maximum HP damage in PvP. I don't get it, but I'm pretty sure working with Kunoichi, you will understand it very well, especially if you enjoy PvP. But to me, what that means is you're gonna hit someone when you're in PvP and it's gonna hurt a lot. But that's level 1. So looking at the seal above, if you have 2 stacks, you get severe bleed level 2, and all skill damage is +7 for 10 seconds. Plus 7% for 10 seconds. And then if you look at level 2 in severe bleed, you get a bleed for 240 damage and 1.5% maximum HP damage in PvP every second for 3 seconds. So obviously, as you can see, the damage you do in PvP with each level increases, and it's just your benefit to want to have level 3 or 3 stacks. And again, look up at seal, and 3 stacks will give you severe bleed level 3. All skill damage is now plus 10% for 20 seconds. And looking down at severe bleed, for level 3, you get a bleed of 300 damage and plus 3% maximum HP damage in PvP every second for 3 seconds. So ultimately, if you're trying to get the 3 stacks to get the maximum amount out of using one of the 3 skills, but I'm gonna tell you, here is a wonderful surprise. If you use one of those 3 skills to trigger and use your stacks, I have noticed that it uses it, or it seems to use it, but then it adds to your stacks, and you can use another trigger skill that uses it. So you're gonna be the one to determine how much damage you can get out of this. I will show you in the gameplay video, but it looks like 2 to 3 attacks with your seals before it completely goes away. So what we're gonna do now is move on to a slide where I show you where you're looking to see that you have a seal generated from using a skill, and what the skills look like, and so on and so forth. So let me bring that picture up. Here we go. So what you're looking at is the 3 skills that trigger a seal when you get it on the bottom right corner, and that's Touch of Death, Cripple, and Shadow Geyser. And then on the interface, in the middle, on the bottom, this is where you see that you are building up seal stacks. That's the icon you're looking for, and it will change color. There's 3 colors. I'll get that on the next slide. And to the right, tap on this icon to see how many seal stacks you have. Ultimately, when you get used to what the colors are, you won't need to tap on that icon. You will just know. You glance, okay, I'm at 1 stack, 2, alright, now I'm at 3. Or you just memorize, this is the color I need to be when I'm at 3 stacks. So, let me show you the next slide, which displays all 3 levels and what it looks like when you tap on the icon to see how many seal stacks you have. Here we go. So what you see here is all 3 levels of seals, 1, 2, and 3, and the 3 different colors, green, blue, and I guess that's red, not pink, maybe. And off to the right is when you tap on that icon to get your buff information, it'll show you seal gained 3 stacks, 3 seal stacks, or whatever you have achieved up to. So these are 3 levels, this is what you see. So what we're going to do now is move into a gameplay video where I show you how the passive works. We're going to be toying around with some pretty strong guys. Okay, here we go, and our Kunoichi is looking really good. So we have the 3 skills at the bottom right corner, which is Shadow Geyser, Cripple, and Touch of Death. And of course, you know where to look for the icon of when you have a seal stack, and you know where to tap to see how many you have. So as I was yep, this is the buff information of where that would be listed. So to my surprise, there's this big hulking guy over there that's glowing in red. We're gonna mess with him. He is loads level higher than us, like 2000 CP higher, but we need someone that will not die off in 1 hit. And just like that, do you see, we now have a seal stack listed. And let's go ahead and tap on our buff information, and it is 3 stacks. I wish I could tell you how you instantly go from 1 to 3, but we're just gonna keep messing with them, and we're going to try to we're gonna use up the seal stacks we have. So we did 1 and 2 and 3. Now it disappeared. So I got 3 hits on him with seal stacks being used. That's awesome. It almost seems unfair. And there it is. There's 1 seal stack generated. See, once again, I'm able to do 1 special and 2 to use up the seals. And this is exciting because in PvP, I thought it was just use it and it's gone, but it looks like you can generate seal stacks and use them. So I don't know, does that make her OP? Hard to say. But this is how it works. Poor guy just disintegrated. And I'm even knocking him to the ground. That's really impressive. These guys are really strong. Just using the trigger skills that use up the seal stacks. And I think we'll try one more time. Nope, we're done playing with him. Let's go ahead and go back to the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome back. So now that you know how the passive works and how the seal stacks work, take a moment to look at this slide, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the next one, which is her skill combos. Here we go. And welcome to the skill combo slide. Before we get started explaining what you're looking at, allow me to tell you where you can find this. If you're in the game and you hit the menu screen and you look over to the right hand side and you tap on the box that says skills, go there, and now you're on the skills screen. And if you go to the middle of the screen and down, you'll see a magnifying glass with a circle around it, and it will say skill combos to the right of it. Tap on that, and now you're here. So the way this works is that everything that's in blue is what you start out with, the skill you choose, and then it changes into the options that you have on the right hand side, which are in gray. Unfortunately for Kunoichi, she really doesn't have many options. Like usually in other characters, you'll see 3 things in gray you could choose from, but for her, it's very straightforward. It's choose this and chain into this. This is a recommendation from Pearl Abyss on getting going on generating skill combos. This will help be a good starting point for you. Over time, when you know her very well, you will make your own skill combos. So looking at this list, allow me to point out a 3-hit combo for you. Let's start with the one at the top, Shadow Stitch. You tap on that, and then the next one is Rain of Steel. And now you'll see Rain of Steel in blue, the third one down. And so what you do is Shadow Stitch to Rain of Steel, and then Rain of Steel to Smokescreen. 3-hit combo. Those 3 right there. I wish I could give you anything more than that, but like I said, you have a lot of skills to play with and mess around with, so feel free to create your own. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the next slide, which is the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. There is a lot to cover on this slide, so let's go ahead and knock out the basics with the interface. On the left hand side is all of the skills. On the far right hand side is branch damage connected to those skills, and there's 4 columns in the center. From left to right, the first, second, and fourth column are enhancements that help Kunoichi. The third column is designed to be what happens to the creature or player's opponent you are fighting. So it doesn't always turn out that way because I'm given a lot of negative things that happen to the creatures, and I just don't want to, make it look really visually horrible. So now you have the general layout. The next question is, where do I see these enhancements? If you're in gameplay and you bring up the menu screen, tap on the skills on the right hand side, and now you're on the skills screen. Let's choose, say, Shadow Stitch. Tap on Shadow Stitch, and to the left of it you'll see the icon for it, and you'll see 2 circles around it. Those are enhancements. As the word says, they enhance and make your Shadow Stitch skill stronger, but you need to unlock them through silver, or there is a requirement, which would be a red number right below it, like 2 or 3 or something like that. And what that means is when you're farming in the world of Hadum or Elion, I kind of said that backwards, but you'll get these skill books. You pay silver to learn it, and you're increasing your knowledge in each skill. It is random what the book will be about. So you might get a book on Shadow Plume, and then you'll get another book on Rain of Steel, and finally you'll get a book on Shadow Stitch. And you want to learn them all because you want your knowledge in each one to go as high and maximize as possible, so you can unlock all these enhancements. Now that you know how that works, just know that when you qualify to unlock an enhancement, you pay the silver, and now for Shadow Stitch, every time you use it, you'll get plus 20 attack for 10 seconds on hit. And if you unlocked the charges change from 1 to 2, that means that Shadow Stitch can now be used twice by you, not just once. And that is really something. This is a reason why you unlock all the enhancements. The last thing to say is, if you look at the skill Touch of Death, and go all the way up to the right where it says heal 200 HP per hit. The word heal is colored differently because it doesn't work in Path of Glory. Everywhere else in the game, when you unlock the heal 200 HP per hit, it will work. And she has a skill which hits 6 times, and it's per hit, so what, 1200 HP for one skill used? Not bad. I'd be going for that first. So take a moment to look at this slide, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. It is like a baseball card. It is all of the slides you previously saw all put together on one slide for you to print out or enjoy. And if you're going to print it out, I highly recommend black and white because it is a bit heavy on the color. So with that being said, let's tell you how this works. At the top is the top 8 PVE and PVP skills I recommend. To the right of that is something new. It's called immobilization. If you have one, it would be in green. If you don't, it's in red. And to the right of that is how many. So Shadow Geyser and Cripple are 2 skills you really should be using, aside from the fact they connect to your passive, as much as you possibly can on a creature or player's opponent in PvP. And I'll tell you why as we get closer to the bottom. And if you're wondering, I don't know what an immobilization is, what are you talking about? Let's look at Shadow Geyser. It says there's 2 of them, right? So let's go to skills, and 4th skill down is Shadow Geyser. Look all the way over to the right, and it says under specials, it will knock up on the first hit and knock down on the last hit, and you also recover 10 MP. So knocking them up in the air and knocking them down is the 2 immobilizations you have. When they are trying to get back up, it gives you the advantage of being able to get in another hit or maybe 2 more hits. And that really can turn the tide of battle in a PvP setting. So now that you know how mobilization works, and you already know about the skills, and you just heard about the enhancements, below at the bottom is a legend for what is not applied in Path of Glory and not applied in Arena. And at the very bottom, if you are wondering what is forward guard and what is super armor, here's the definitions. For forward guard, this means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Now, forward guard is like, imagine a shield in front of you that's invisible, and I'm in front of you trying to damage you straight on. As long as I'm trying to hit you straight at you, or maybe a little to the right or the left, this will apply. No damage, that it'll either be 0 or heavily reduced. But if I jump and get behind you and attack you at your back, then the forward guard is not helping you at all and damage will resume. So that's how it works. Super armor, everyone in PvP uses super armor like crazy, and this is the reason why. It means that incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. Now, we don't know how long super armor lasts, because if you did, somebody could time you, and that just would be unfair. So that's why you want to use Shadow Geyser, Cripple, and every other skill you can that has an immobilization at your opponent as much as possible, increasing your chance that their super armor will run out and your immobilization will kick in and you'll see them fall on the ground and you can get those extra hits in. So take a moment to look at everything. The music is gonna change where we go into a gameplay video and show you what Kunoichi can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. Before we get started, let us show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we're over at Kron Castle entrance. And we're here, well, because their CP is that low and her CP is that high. She'll be fine. The way this works is we will use our auto path and have her fight for about 2, maybe 3 minutes, at which time we will go to town. I'll give my outro and say thank you. So, without further ado, I am pleased to give you Kunoichi. Here we go. And it's just about time for us to head back to town. Just get in a few hits. There we go. So while the loading screen is coming up, allow me to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, let people know. I am always making more videos and there is so many more videos left to do. So what we're doing here is putting Kunoichi in a nice pose with the background, and we always have her give a wave, or have them, so there we go. And maybe clap. Let's see what that's like. And one more time with the wave. So while she does that, thank you so much for watching this video, and you all have a great day. Take care. Bye now.